in which increases the burden on society as a whole, because we're forced to take care of it in the form of social services and stuff like that. We're paying for that. So then that is another contributor to our taxes going up and down and this, that, and the other, and whatever the case may be. So it's like, they put all these things in place for whenever they put them in place. And because society changes, some of these things stay in the old form that they have been in. And people get so accustomed to handouts and this, that, and the other, pats on the butt, that they feel entitled to get what someone else was getting before. And it's like, at what point do we look at the burden overall? And it's like, we need to be like China or somewhere where people can only have 1 or 2 kids. And that's it. I think I'm a fan of that. So, but we're in America, and in American fashion, that is mean. Oh my God.
So, all right, we're coming down to the last 2 of our talking points, meaning our subject matters that we've had in the past year, or this past year. So Deion Sanders, who is one of my favorite athletes of all time. I'm not even gonna, confine him to football, but as an athlete, he's pretty much in my top 3.
That's your sliced bread.
Yeah, I can't even put those other 2 athletes either before or after him. But all the criticism this man has gone through, I think is terrible. Because anytime you have someone of that magnitude who's given so much only to receive basically the people's behind in a certain regard in return, I think is utterly ridiculous.
Right.
When not only are you not basically getting paid per your contract, you're actually coming out of your own pockets to make this program work, meaning at Jackson, Mississippi, that university, you're also utilizing your resources as far as people who have, like with Nike and Gatorade and, other contacts like that, business wise, that, you've been in the industry for so long, and then you are utilizing some of those friendships to make things happen for this historically Black college. And this is the type of treatment you receive when you set forth, bigger goals for yourself. Like, the man ain't supposed to stay there forever. He came, he conquered, he did what he was supposed to do, meaning he put your whole school on the map, and now he's moving on to a bigger program, and there's nothing wrong with that. Instead of congratulating this man, you want to dog him. Like, that's so sickening to me. But that's just my take on it.
So, I don't know if you watch Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp, who is a Hall of Fame football player, tight end. He's on he has his thing with Skip Bayless, but Shannon Sharp has his own little thing. Right. And he had Deion Sanders on there just the other day. I didn't send that to you, did I?
Yeah, you did. I actually started watching it, and then I got called away, so I never did get a chance to finish it.
He had Deion Sanders on there, and they was talking about this. And Deion Sanders said something that I said when we had our podcast.
Right.
And, I can't quote him verbatim, but I'm a paraphrase it, and it's kind of along the lines of what I said. A lot of these people who are out there opening their mouths and saying this and saying that have not contributed anything, not a dollar, not time, not nothing, but they have so much to say. And, you know, that was one of the things that got under my skin about it, because again, this is something that goes along with a lot of complaints that a lot of our people have. Right. They want to complain about all this, that, and the other, yet they have nothing to contribute. In that interview, he stated, and again, I'm paraphrasing, that he wasn't supposed to be there that long anyway. He was not supposed to be there that long. Right. He said, give him like 2 years to do whatever, and then he was moving on. And Shannon Sharp asked him, what if they would have asked you for 5 years? He said he would have did that. But he wasn't supposed to be there that long. You know, he also talked about, because, you know, again, this another thing that I kind of mentioned, you know, and it's something that was in the headlines, that, you know, a lot of people were saying that Deion Sanders sold them a dream. And he was like, what dream did I sell you? Why did you stop dreaming? Like, your dreams don't start and end with that man.
Correct.
And it's also something that you had mentioned about leaving back the blueprint. He said, I put forth the blueprint. It's up to them to build on it. And then another thing that was brought up was, you know, getting that school into a bigger conference. To which he was saying, you know, it wouldn't have been worth it. Like, and he was talking about these games that got played in all these other places that could have been played at Jackson State, or Jackson State going to play certain games elsewhere, big games with like a school like a Notre Dame or something like that. Yeah. And then you have to look at the cost of it, like $300,000 for a chartered flight. Then you got to look at the hotel cost. Then you got to look at the food costs, and you got to look at all these costs. And at this point, you easily at like $1 million. Where's that money coming from?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then he was talking about how all these people have a lot to say. And he was like, the alumni who have graduated from that school are not giving back to that school. So it's like, where is the support and all this, that, and the other? So, you know, it was just interesting that, you know, how he was bringing a lot of that stuff to light, a lot of the stuff that, you know, we thought of and we talked about. And it's like, you know, y'all people out here complaining, whining and crying, but, you know, a lot of y'all are misguided in what you're saying.
True. Yeah, it's kind of like how Dr. Umar Johnson was speaking on that situation with Deion, but he didn't have all the facts.
He never has all. I mean, he says some good stuff, but at the end of the day, you know, when it comes down to it, you know, who are you to make a judgment on someone else's whatever? And you said you watched that whole Umar Johnson interview when he was on what you call it, right?
Yeah, on the
Breakfast Club, I think it was.
Yeah, Breakfast Club. Yeah.
The ironic thing about it in that interview was he said, I couldn't depend on our people to do certain things, so he had to go to where?
Yeah, he had to go to the vanilla people.
So how dare you? How dare you say what you're saying when you pretty much experienced the reality of our situation as a whole? It doesn't matter what those other people do. Our people ain't even taking care of business. So kill that noise.
Yes, sir. Get it right on up out of her, as they say. So this was a topic that I think we bounced it around. And the topic is toxic mothers. this particular subject came up when a mother she's from Jamaica. I think was it Harlem, New York?